Hi, I'm Effie and today I'm going to do an audit of every book that I gave a 5-star to up until the start of 2024. The reason that I'm excluding 2024 is that my intention here is for this to be somewhat of a retrospective, and I feel like including books that I read in 2024 would skew things slightly, and I might be more generous with the categories that I place the books into, hence why I am doing it this way. My intention is that this will be a video that I do yearly going forward, so I would be looking at the 2024 5 stars at either the end of 2025 or the start of 2026. Before I jump in, I just want to go through the categories that I have decided I am going to be placing these books into. So right at the top we have God tier. I feel like this category speaks for itself, but these are the top of the top books. I wouldn't expect there to be a large quantity of books that fit this category because these are literally meant to be the best of the best. The books that if I had to get rid of 99% of my library, I would be keeping these books. Those are the kind of books that I'm going to be putting in God tier. Just below that we have I stand by my rating. These are books that I think if I read today, I likely would still give a 5-star. Then we've got I need to reread Affectionate. So these are books that I think probably would still be a 5-star today, but I don't feel like they are fresh enough in my memory that I can confidently stand by that rating. Then there's I was probably being generous, which is pretty self-explanatory. These are the books that maybe I had a good time reading but weren't excellent in retrospect. And then we have I need to reread Derogatory. So these are books that, you know, I could not 100% say whether I would still give them a 5-star. However, if I'm being completely honest, I wouldn't want to do it to myself to reread these books. And then the final tier is just nah. These are the books that I definitely would not be giving a 5-star to if I read today. I would not recommend. I just don't want to spend time or energy on these books, basically. So we have over 200 books to get through, so I am literally just going to be doing title and author if I can read it. The images are very tiny on screen and they're likely to get tinier as I'll probably be zooming out throughout this video. Straight in with Lost in the Moment and Found by Shauna Maguire. Straight to God tier for that one. Nina is Not Okay. I stand by Shappi Khorsandi. I stand by my rating. Is Worry Worrying You? Probably being generous, sorry. Probably being generous. Battle Royale Volume 5 by Koshin Takami. Probably being generous. The Gender Secret by Bella Forrest. I need to reread Derogatory. With Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I need to reread Affectionate. Oh gosh, what's that say? Some Kind of Wonderful by Giovanna Fletcher. Probably being generous. Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. God tier. Do Not Disturb by Claire Douglas. I need to reread Affectionate. The Switch by Beth O'Leary. I stand by my rating. Please Don't Say an X Word by... yeah, I can't read that. It's too small, unfortunately. Probably Being Generous. 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. Nah. Is that Oyster Boy? I literally cannot tell. Yes, it is. The Melancholy Something of Oyster Boy by Tim Burton. Probably Being Generous. Unconventional by Maggie something. I'm so sorry, this is probably not a very helpful video. I was probably being generous. Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I stand by my rating. Husband Material by Alexis Hall. I stand by my rating. Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. I Need a Reread Affectionate. Space Opera by Helen Fisher. Yeah, Helen Fisher. I stand by my rating. The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. I stand by my rating. Killing Eve, No Tomorrow. I Need a Reread Affectionate. The Never Tilting World by Rinch Pecco. I Need a Reread Affectionate. Taproot by Kezzy Green. I stand by my rating. Krakenori with various comedians. I was probably being generous. Sage and King by Molly Ringwald. I Need a Reread of... no, actually, I stand by my rating. The Moment We Met by Camille Baker. I stand by my rating. This Savage Song by V. Schwab. God Tier. The Venue by TJ Payne. I Need a Reread Affectionate. Fire and Blood by George R. Martin. I Need a Reread Affectionate. Fallen Thorns by Harvey Oliver Baxter. I stand by my rating. A Chorus Rising by Bethany C. Morrow. I stand by my rating. The Gilda Stories by Jewel Gomez. I stand by my rating. A Gathering of Shadows by V. Schwab. God Tier. Is that Two Mummies? I think that's A Tale of Two Mummies by, I want to say it's like Venita Oschlager. Probably Being Generous. House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. I stand by my rating. American King by Sierra Simone. God Tier. The Crown by Kira Cass. I Need a Reread Affectionate. Supernova by Marissa Mayer. I Need a Reread Derogatory. Sunset Springs by Case and Calendar. I stand by my rating. The Many Deaths of Layla Starr by Ram V. God Tier, which is ironic because it contains a god. Letter to a Bigot by Miriam Gerber. I was probably being generous. Queer Baiting and Fandom, and I don't think I can read that author's name. I Need to Reread Affectionate. Machines Like Me by Ian McEwan. I Need a Reread Affectionate. Tale of Two Mummies by the same author as Two Daddies, probably being generous. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, God Tier. Summer Frost by Blake Crouch, probably being generous. Iron Widow by Sharon J. Zhao is God Tier. The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Penranda. I Need a Reread Affectionate. Peter Darling by Austin Chant. I stand by my rating. Witchlings by Clarabelle A. Ortega. I stand by my rating. The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I stand by my rating. Blood Debts by Terry Benton Walker. I stand by my rating. His and Hers by Alice Feeney. I need to reread Affectionate. Screen Queens, and there's no way I can read that author. I was probably being generous. Fellside by M.R. Carey. I need to reread Affectionate. Extraordinary by V. Schwab. I stand by my rating. My Husband the Stranger by Rebecca Doan. I was probably being generous. The 100 Lies of Lizzie Lovett, and I can't read the author name. I was probably being generous. City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. I need to reread Derogatory. A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. I stand by my rating. Is that Release by Patrick Ness? I think it's Release. I was probably being... No, actually, I need to reread Affectionate. Battle Royale Volume 3 by Koshin... Sorry. By Koshin Takami. I was probably being generous. 1 by Sarah Crossan. I was probably being generous. Unravel the Stars... Oh, no, sorry. Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. I stand by my rating. The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. I stand by my rating. Penance by Eliza Clark. I stand by my rating. The Book of Pride, and I can't read that author. I stand by my rating. And I'm just gonna make things a little bit more zoomed out so we can see a bit more. In the Eyes of Mr. Fury by Philip Ridley. God Tier. Broken Dolls by James Carroll. I was probably being affectionate. Generous, sorry, not affectionate. At the End of Everything by Marie Kanishkamp. God Tier. The Will of the Many by James Islington. I stand by my rating. Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I need to reread Affectionate. Snow Song. I was probably being generous. A Dark Duet by V. Schwab. God Tier. Those are the same book. Is that... I think that's... Why can't I remember? A Darker Shade of Magic by V. Schwab. God Tier. Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman. I was probably being... no, sorry, I need to reread Affectionate. Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. I stand by my rating. Big Whales, Small World. I was probably being generous. I do like whales. I'm Travelling Alone by Samuel Bjork. I was probably being generous. Heartstopper. I think that's volume 5. Was that volume 4? I don't know, but I stand by my rating regardless. A Merry Little Meet Cute by Sierra Simone and Julie Murphy. I stand by my rating. Possibly God Tier, but we are being sparing. Sanctuary Cities by Charlotte Amelia Poe. I stand by my rating. Richard Osman, The Bullet That Missed. I stand by my rating. I Can Paint a Double Rainbow. I was probably being generous. Killing Stalking Volume 1 Deluxe Edition. I need to reread Affectionate. 10 Things That Never Happened by Alexis Hall. I stand by my rating. Letters to the Lost by Bridget Camarera. I stand by my rating. Breathe Out Slow by A.D. Lawless, I think. I need to reread Affectionate. A Mirror Mended by Alexi Harrow, God Tier. And this is In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I was probably being generous. Oh gosh. I think no. I honestly do not recognise that cover. Bear with me. Okay, that's The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I was probably being generous. Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. I stand by my rating. Counselling for Toads. I was probably being generous. And we need to zoom out again. Just constantly zooming out in this video. Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. I stand by my rating. Certain Dark Things by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I stand by my rating. A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. God Tier. Ethel and Ernest, I think that is. Ethel and Ernest, or possibly When the Wind Blows. Regardless, I stand by my rating. Law Olympus Volume 1, I need to reread Affectionate, or is it Volume 2? I can't tell, but it's going to be the same regardless. Juice Like Wounds by Shauna Maguire is God Tier. Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella, I was probably being generous. Snug, whose author I can't remember, but I stand by my rating. Battle Royale Volume 1, I was probably being generous. Mislaid in Parts Half Known, God Tier. How Do We Relationship by Tammy Full. I was probably being generous. Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson, God Tier. You Don't Know Everything, Jilly P by Alex Gino. I need to reread Affectionate. When the Ground is Hard. I cannot read that author's name. And I need to reread Affectionate. That is Elle McNichol's Show Us Who You Are, I think it's called. And I stand by my rating. True Crime Story by Joseph Knox. I stand by my rating. Gallant by V. Schwab. I stand by my rating. The Gloaming by Kirsty Logan. I stand by my rating. Everyday Angel by V. Schwab. Stand by my rating. Porky Pet something. I was probably being generous. There's a lot of kids' books on here. Autobiography by Christina Lauren. I need to reread Affectionate. Salt in the Wound by Sierra Simone, God Tier. Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I stand by my rating. Mooncakes by no, it's right above me, but it's the wrong way around. But I stand by my rating, or God Tier. Stand by my rating. It felt a little unfinished. If there was a bit more to it, I probably would put in God Tier. Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. I stand by my rating. When Our Worlds Collided by Danielle Joanda. I stand by my rating. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Stand by my rating. Blonde Roots by Bernardine Evaristo. I was probably being generous. Bad Things Happen Here by Rebecca Barrow. Need to reread Affectionate. God Killer by Hannah Kana. I stand by my rating. Daisy Jones and the Six. I mean, I don't need... actually, no, it's going in now. I was going to say I actually don't need a reread. Snow Glass Apples. Nah. A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol. I need a reread. Affectionate. Beg Me by Sierra Simone. God tier. Dear Ash by Sierra Simone. God tier. Feed. I do not know the author, but I know that's Feed. I need a reread. Affectionate. That's the wrong tier there. Mediocre by Ijoma Olu. And I stand by my rating. Loud Black Girls. I could not possibly read that author title, but I stand by my rating. Gideon the Ninth by Tasman Muir. God tier. I Would Leave Me If I Could by Halsey. God tier. This Is Where It Ends by Marika Nieschkamp. I need a reread. Affectionate. Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. I Was Probably Being Generous. Wishing Upon the Same Stars. I Was Probably Being Generous. Killing Eve. Die For Me by Luke Jennings. It's either God tier or stand by my rating. I'm going to go stand by my rating. Vampire Mental Syndrome by S.E. Hunter. God tier. Saga volume, I think that's volume 11? 10. I think we're up to 10. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're up to 10. I'm gonna say that this one is... I need a reread. Affectionate. Blow Part 1. I need a... by November Sweets. I need a reread. Affectionate. Let's zoom out again. The Travellers by Regina Porter. I stand by my rating. That's also A Kind of Spark, which we've already tiered ranked. Butter, Honey, Pig Bread. I need a reread. Affectionate. The Flower Ranger by JJ, I want to say Alice. I need a reread. Affectionate. The Love Stories of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honoré Fanon Jeffers. I stand by my rating. Second Dad's Summer by Benjamin Class. I stand by my rating. And once again, we are zooming out. I wonder how much we zoom out by the end of this video. Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I stand by my rating. If you like the trope of touch her and die, highly recommend that one. An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. I need a reread. Affectionate. The Rule of Three by Sophie Snow. God tier. Out of Character by, I think it's Annabeth Albert. I need a reread. Affectionate. Date Me Bryson Keller by Kevin Van Wy. I need a reread. Affectionate. The Rule of Wolves by Lee Bardugo. God tier? Yeah, God tier. T-Dragon, I think that's T-Dragon Book 2, if I remember rightly. I need a reread. Affectionate. A Cruel Arrangement by Tihan. I need a reread. Affectionate. That's another one of the gender game books by Bella Forrest. I need a reread. Derogatory. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Getting all achy now. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I need a reread. Affectionate. The Toll by Neil Schusterman. I stand by my rating. Oh gosh, that is tiny. I think that's The Bystander Effect. And I need a reread. Affectionate. Rain by Joe Hill is God tier. The Power by Naomi Alderman. I need a reread derogatory. Saga, this is the omnibus, so it's like volumes 1 to 9. God tier. Redemptor by Jordan Africo. I stand by my rating. The Cat Who Saved Books. I stand by my rating. Beached and Breached by Vera Valentine. I stand by my rating. The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. I was probably being generous. How to Be Autistic by Charlotte Amelia Poe. I stand by my rating. This Pact Is Not Ours by, oh my gosh, someone, Zachary maybe? Sergey, I stand by my rating. The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas by John Boyne, nah. We Died in the Water. I need a reread Affectionate. Hate Notes by V. Keeland and Penelope Ward. I stand by my rating. Dirty Letters by V. Keeland and Penelope Ward. I stand by my rating. Within These Wicked Walls. Why can't I remember the name of the author? And there's no way I can read it. At this point, I don't think I'm going to be able to read the names on the covers if I don't remember them. But I stand by my rating. Slay by Brittany Morris. I stand by my rating. Scout. I was probably being generous. We've got a whole heap of Cassie Clare books, although I think that might be Clockwork Princess. So that will go in reread Affectionate, but the Mortal Instruments are all going to be reread derogatory. Okay. Oh, I can see a Nancy Boys at the end. I'm just going to like put that in nah right now. Oops, wrong one. There we go, that goes in nah. The Boys Run the Riot, Volume 1. I stand by my rating. The Arrival of Someday by Jen Malone. I stand by my rating. Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalola is a God tier book. My Darling from the Lions by, I think that's Rachel Long. I need a reread Affectionate. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I need a reread Affectionate. Arch Nemesis by Marissa Mayer. I was probably being generous. There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I stand by my rating. On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher. I need a reread Affectionate. Malcolm and Me. I was probably being generous. Forever Ends on Friday by Jason Reynolds. Jason? I think it's Jason. I stand by my rating. The Kindred by Alicia Dow. God tier. American Queen by Sierra Simone. God tier. Lost Beast Found Friend. I was probably being generous. Author number 9, I think it is. I need a reread Affectionate. The Princess Diarists by Carrie Fisher. I stand by my rating. That is one of the Steel Prince graphic novels, but I don't know which one. I'm going to put it in I stand by my rating. The author's V. Schwab, but I don't know which Steel Prince graphic novel that is. And that would make a difference to me. Pretty sure that's another copy of A Darker Shade of Magic. I don't think that's a Conjuring of Light. Or maybe it is. Regardless, it goes in God tier. In fact, I'm just going to move these duplicates all onto it so they're not currently in my way. So all the duplicates I'm just quickly popping next to the thing that they are duplicating. What was I looking for? I was looking for a kind of spark, which is, pretty sure I put it in this. Oh no, I put it there. Just talking to myself. Real healthy. Heartstopper, I think that's volume 4. I'm going to say Stand By My Rating. Girls Can Kiss Now, I stand by my rating. A Spindle Splintered, I stand by my rating. The Nicole Byer book, it's something about, like, it's a picture book of just like how beautiful she is. I'm gonna say I need to reread Affectionate. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I was probably being generous. I Left the House Today by Cassandra Carlin. Oh, that's the Kaylin, sorry. That's the author of Snog. I say I need to reread Affectionate. On the Savage Side by Tiffany McDaniel, God tier. Vicious by V. Schwab, I stand by my rating. A Lesson in Thorns by Sierra Simone, God tier. And that is another Cassandra Clare, but it's the Infernal Devices. So I'm going to say I need to reread Affectionate. That is a Huda Fami graphic novel. I'm going to say I stand by my rating. Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. And definitely cannot read that author's name. I don't know why I'm trying. The author names are too small on these now. And I'm going to go I stand by my rating. Renegades by Marissa Mayer, I was probably being generous. Salman Rushdie's Victory City, I stand by my rating. Vengeful by V. Schwab, I stand by my rating. A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, I stand by my rating. And we're going to have to zoom out again. There's not a lot of titles left, which is really good because I can barely see what the books are now. So Love in Colour by Bolu Babalola, I stand by my rating. Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers is God tier. Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher, I stand by my rating. Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, I stand by my rating. Foul is Fair by Hannah Capin, I stand by my rating. Ninth House by Lee Bardugo, I stand by my rating. No Win Race, I need a reread Affectionate. Juliet Takes a Breath, the graphic novelisation, I need a reread Affectionate. Wordslut by Amanda Montell, I God tier. The Girl from the Sea by Molly Knox Ostertag, I stand by my rating. Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, I stand by my rating. Harley in the Sky by Akemi Dawn Bowman, I need a reread Affectionate. Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, God tier. That's another one of the Shades of Magic books. I'm pretty sure that's book 3, so that goes in God tier. That is the Dirty Business by Tijan. That goes in I stand by my rating. All the Better Part of Me by Molly Ringle, I need a reread. Affectionate. Raybearer by Jordan Fueko, I stand by my rating. Medusa by Jessie Burton, God tier. The Near Witch by V. Schwab, I stand by my rating. A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. I stand by my rating. I'm Sorry for Your Loss. I stand by my rating. That is another of the Battle Royale volumes, but way too small for me to see what volume. I'm going to say I was probably being generous. Somebody I Used to Know by Dana L. Davis. I stand by my rating. Fake Famous by Dana L. Davis. I stand by my rating on that one. Stiff by Mary Roach. I need a reread. Affectionate. Build Your House Around My Body by Violet Coppersmith. I am going to put that in I stand by my rating, but it's possibly God tier. The Dark Vault by V. Schwab. I stand by my rating. This is the Battle Royale manga. Is it called like Angel's Board? Oh no! Sorry, that's just Battle Royale. I stand by my rating. We've got a couple of kids' books here that I cannot read the titles of, but I'm going to just say I was probably being generous with both of those. Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shauna Maguire. I stand by my rating. That is... It's either Princess Ever After or The Princess and the Dressmaker. But I'm going to say I stand by my rating there. The Voice in My Head by Dana L. Davis. I stand by my rating. Have We Met by Camille Baker. I stand by my rating. Milk and Honey by... Oh gosh, that poet. I'm just going to say I was probably being generous. Another Shades of Magic book. There are not that many Shades of Magic books in the series. Clearly, I just have various different covers saved. Oh gosh. This is a poetry collection based on the 12 Dancing Princesses. But I couldn't tell. I think it's called 12. But unfortunately, I don't know the author. So I'm going to say need a reread. Affectionate. Threads of Power by V. Schwab. God tier. That's a kid's book, but I couldn't tell you what kid's book that is, so I was probably being generous. Hannah Beast. I can't remember the author of that one, which, I mean, that's the case for a lot of them. I am gonna say I was probably being generous. That is... I don't know what that book's called, but it's like organs that are personified, but I stand by my rating for it. The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. I need a reread. Affectionate. Truth Be Told by Kia Abdullah. I stand by my rating. A Monster Cause by Patrick Ness. I need a reread. Affectionate. Lava Red Feather Blue by Molly Ringwald. I need a reread. Affectionate. Rainbow Milk by Paul Mendes. I stand by my rating. And The Summer That Melted Everything by Tiffany McDaniel. I stand by my rating. We did it! We got to the end of it. We did all of the books. I hope this was interesting, and feel free to ask me in the comments if you want more details about any of these books. And I guess give me feedback if you'd like to see me do this differently in the future. I guess I'm pretty happy with the spread of how it all came out. I like that for the most part I either stood by my rating or feel like the rating was probably accurate, but I would need a reread. There were a few thrown in that, I don't think in retrospect probably were genuine 5 stars, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. But until next time, love you. Bye.